Hello and welcome to today's Starseed Healing Circle. I hope you've had a beautiful week and here we are again. So in today's session we are looking at, I'm going to start with the Wands of Horus cards. I'm going to do just a reading because we're at the beginning of a month and we've got Lionsgate tomorrow. So happy Lionsgate. We are here again. I can't believe it's been a year since last Lionsgate. But here we are again, and what we're going to do is we'll do a tune in. Before we do tune in though, I got instruction to just draw other cards just before we get into the actual main session. So let's actually go there first. Okay, so these are the O cards and they come in. It's a deck of cards. I can't remember how many cards there are. I think it's about 88 cards or 98 cards or something. And you've got the big word cards and then you've got small cards, same amount, so also about 89 or 88 or 98 or whatever cards. And those have little paintings on. And the idea is you shuffle the big deck with the names and you put those cards down, and then you shuffle the painting cards and you put those down. So there's something like 7,744 possible combinations that you can get with this particular deck. And I've had to giggle because as I was stacking out the cards, the last card is go, and then the image that goes on there is also go, and I was just thinking, you really can't make this stuff up. Anyway, how this particular deck works is that this is not about my interpretation. This is about your personal interpretation. So this has got absolutely nothing to do with me. Each and every one of you will interpret the cards in a different way. And it works in the same premise as those blob tests or those blob cards that they use in psychology, where they show you a blob of ink and you've got to say what you see. This works in a similar process. It was actually designed, this deck of cards was designed by psychologists. So what we have is you've got the word card and you've got the image card. On your side, what you need to do is you need to make up a story or a sentence with each set. So where you've got O and you've got the two people, you have to combine the image plus the word to form a story or a sentence. And whatever that may mean for you, it could be positive, negative, neutral, doesn't really matter. I drew the cards 3 as in past, present, future. So the O card is the past, the Rot card is the present, and the Go card is the future. So I'm going to ask you to stay on this screen for as long as you need to. And I want you to just look at each of those cards and just feel and sense and get a meaning of what each of these cards could mean, these card combinations. And each set of cards, set of 2 cards, is actually seen as one card. Okay, so spend as much time here as you need. I want you to tune into each of those cards, maybe write down your sentence or your paragraph or your little story for each of the 3 cards and just see what comes up for you. And then what you'll do is we will use this as our way to get into our focus and into our tune in, so that the tune in almost goes in a more focused way, so that we can release the past, clear the present, and move into the future. So okay, so pause the recording here and then write down your stories, get your insights, spend as much time here as you need, and then when you're ready, we're going to move into the tuning. So for today's tuning, we are using the Lionsgate Lightcode activation. And now that you have your background story, I want you to get comfortable, perhaps close your eyes. Just take a few slow deep breaths in and out. And just take a moment to drop into your heart space and formulate or think about what it is that you would like to work with today. What would you like to heal, clear, release, whatever. Just bring that into your awareness. And when you are ready, open your eyes and allow your eyes to rest on this light code. Perhaps your eyes are being drawn to a specific area, or perhaps you just want to trace it like it is a labyrinth for your eyes. No need to analyze or interpret or translate. Just focus on your goal that you want to work with in this session and allow it to flow as it does. Just hold that into your awareness for now. Stay here as long as you need to. Pause the recording if you need to spend a little bit more time here. Okay, so let's move into our session for today. I can't remember when last I did a Book of Doors reading. I just felt that today was really a good time, almost like a check to see where are we at, how's the healing going, what is the direction we need to go, what's new, what's shifted, what's news, etc., etc. And then we're going to do the Wands of Horus cards on top of those cards again, and we'll do a little bit of a clearing around that. Okay, so let's look at our cards. So here's the first layout that I started with. There are, and I'm using the same spread as I always use with the Book of Doors, the pyramid spread. So the top line is your spiritual, second line is the mental, third line is the emotional, and the fourth line is the physical. And we're going to just go card by card and have a look at what the story is, and yeah, and let's have a look at what life brings. Okay, so the first card, what I did was, because of the last card, so I just forgot about this one, because the last card was a little bit of a weird ending, I just drew another card to just check what was meant by that, just to get some clarity. So I'll explain this when I go into each of the cards now. Okay, so our first card is our guiding principle. This is, it's almost sort of why we are here today for the healing. And here we have Me'urt. Me'urt is one of the mother goddesses, the cow goddess. And when this comes up, it usually indicates that there's unlimited possibilities. So we've got a new beginning over here. And this is a time for seeding new plans, maybe looking at all the different potentials and possibilities that's out there, including ones that we haven't realized before. So it's really about, let's begin with a new slate, new beginning. I think it's appropriate then to have this one over here. I do feel that we've gone through some interesting energies the last few months. And so this is actually a great one to have here. It means that we've got a new beginning, so new ways of going. Then we've got our thought patterns from the past that's still affecting us now. So now we're on the mental level. And Hehu is about cycles. And this is any types of cycles, whether it's weather or time, just different cycles within life, etc., etc. And whatever this is that we've undertaken is something that normally has long-reaching potentials and also success. So this is something we've started some time ago. You can see with Hehu, he's one of the male primordial gods. The males have the frog heads, and then the females have snake heads. And you'll see that the female, the serpent or the snake, is in the background. So the creative energy is there. Hehu is standing on the water. The water is all about that emotional stuff as well. But behind the serpent, there's also the flames, the action, and the activity. So this is really about something that you've started before, something to do with cycles, and this is still having an effect on you where you are right now. Our future guidance, or the direction in which we're moving on a mental level, is Shu Tefnut. So Shu and Tefnut, those are the gods of air and also moisture. So Shu is air, he's the male, and Tefnut, the female, moisture. So moisture could be mist or rain or anything like that. It's basically the moisture that we have in the air. There's no separation between Shu and Tefnut, so they are this divine couple that's just always together. And this usually indicates a harmonious or a beneficial union or partnership. So if you are perhaps looking for a relationship, it may be that there's a relationship coming. If it is that you are looking for a work partner or you want to collaborate more, it could be that you're finding this collaboration or this partner that you can work with here. If you are already in a relationship, it could also just be a strengthening of those bonds. So just see what this means for you. Of course, we're working with a group, so each of us will have a slightly different take on this. Then looking at the past energies on the emotional level and how we use those and how it still has an effect on us. And I vaguely remember that this one came up in the previous reading as well. So I'll have to actually go check back where that was. And this is Shesmu 42. So this is the 42 judges when it comes to judging your heart. And so we normally see this card as a judgment or a judgment card, but it usually is self-judgment. So how you judge yourself. It could also be sometimes how you judge others, but I think that depending on how we look at this, I like to really take it back to self. So it's really about how you judge yourself. Part of the judgment process is also about purification. So I don't see judgment necessarily as a negative thing, because as soon as we see difference anywhere in the world, our immediate response to difference is to judge. That's a natural response, and that's actually totally normal. It's good to be able to see the differences between people and things and situations. It's when we start sitting on that and harping on it and not letting go of that judgment where it gets unhealthy. So this is really about spotting those things that are different, spotting the things that you don't want in your life, spotting the things that you want to clear. And like I said, this card came up before, so it's possible that this is from the past. This is sort of speaking back to that past event where we have cleared that and purified. And so then we're going to move on into the bridge card. The bridge card is where we are right now in our life. And this Unut 4-5 also came up before. So a lot of these Duat cards kept coming up in the last few months. And Duat is the afterlife. So this is your journey that you take when you pass away and or transition and move on to the next realm to go to the afterlife. But there's also part of the journey over here. This Unut 4-5 is really the dark night of the soul. So this is your darkest hour before the dawn. So where we are right now, you may be sitting in a time where you're feeling, I am so low, I am so down, I am so done, and and it almost feels like you are like right at the depths of things, and perhaps you are. But normally the good news with Unut 4-5 is that it can't get any darker or lower than this. This is your final lowest point in your suffering or your illness or your cycle or whatever it is that we're working with. And this is where we almost like move down into the depths of this pool, and we feel the ground, and we can use that to push up and come back out of this. So even though it's not the nicest card to have, it is a bit of a sort of a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, or that little shining edge on your dark clouds. It is saying that things will be, this is the lowest as it's going to go. We're not going to go any lower than this. So you can breathe a little sigh of relief. I'm sure things will be good after this. Then our wishes and expectations, or the direction if we want to go on an emotional level, is Septet. Septet is associated with the stars, and this is usually some form of revelation or something hidden that is being revealed to you. It could be associated with occult knowledge, maybe something that comes from a spiritual side or spiritual development, where things are all of a sudden revealed or cleared. So this is where we are getting to. So we're moving from the dark space into the shimmering stars that we see in the night sky that lights up the darkness, and it's there as guiding principles. And so we're wanting to get into that revelation, get into that understanding of what is happening or what is coming. Then our past actions on the more physical level that's still having an effect on us, where we are right now, is Bes. Now Bes is actually an adopted god. He was a Sumerian god that the Egyptians adopted, and he's a little dwarf god, and he usually lives under the bed. He's associated with pregnancy and also luck and joy. So here, when Bes comes up, especially in the past, it was some promise of pleasure maybe, or fulfillment. So this was a driving force in the past, and it almost gave you the opportunity to move into a new dimension. I'm just trying to see how we can phrase this, because those are the types of words associated with it, but it is in the past, so it was some form of invitation or promise that we had in the past that said, well, we're going to move into a really joyful, beautiful place. And I guess if we look at the new age and we look at a lot of these channelings, people all come like, oh, we've made it through, and this is beautiful, and la la la, and they've got all these things, but then you look back months later and you go like, excuse me, where is this? When is this happening? And this could be one of those promises where you maybe had your hopes up real high, and you're probably thinking back like, where is it? Like, what's going on? Why haven't I received my promise yet? So that's sort of the sense that I'm getting here. It was almost like that carrot dangling in front of the donkey's nose that you just can't quite get to, but it was promised to you. This takes us through to Ideals and Aspirations card, and this is Ptah, and Ptah is the architect, the grand architect. He's one of the creator gods. He's the one who created man and who created everything around maths and everything. So he's actually, like a lot of people think that it's Thoth, the god of wisdom, who brought us math and all of those things, but it was actually Ptah, and he actually gave birth through his word to Thoth. So Ptah is all about creation, the acts of creation. So our ideals and aspirations is really about creating something new, creating a new space for us. If we take it right back to Me'urt, which is that new, fresh, clean slate that we're working with, here we're at the act of creation where we can go, okay, we want to create something new here. We want to take this further. Then to implement our decisions and our ideas, we have Geb. Now Geb is the earth god. If we're looking at the Greek and Roman sides, they have converted the male energy into a feminine energy, so they made it Gaia, as in earth, as in a female, but the ancient Egyptians saw earth as a male energy, so this was Geb. And this is all about physicalizing or manifesting your plans. So as an implementation of our decisions, so what we need to do here is really to work on our manifestation or materialization. We need to look at our focus as to how we're going to bring or manifest or make real or bring into this life what it is that we want to have on this earth. Instead of almost like hiding away or running away from it, we need to embrace it and move towards that. Then our general outcome that we have is Kemt. Now, Kemt is the ancient Egyptian word for Egypt, and it means black land. And the story goes that from the void, from the nothingness, the god created the something, which is this sort of muddy, black, fertile soil, which then separated into sort of more mud and more solid state soil. But when the Kemt card comes up, you can see the frog head at the bottom. That's the male primordial gods, and then we've got the serpent or the snake. This is the female primordial gods, and then we've actually got the very muddy image, and we've got the more solid image. What this does is it creates chaos and confusion, and it's like really breaking down. It's almost like the Tower card in the tarot, where things are really like being broken down, and we release what no longer is serving. And so I just felt like, really, do we really want to end a reading on chaos and confusion? Like, what is all of this about? Like, okay, we've just gone through this dark night of the soul, and we've had all of that crap, and now we're getting to chaos. Yum, what a beautiful way to end a reading. So I thought, no, we need another card here. Let's get some more insight. What is all of this confusion and chaos all about? And then the card that follows is Nefertum. And Nefertum is about youth, beauty, joy, happiness. It's all the beautiful things. This is the young energy. Nefertum is like the child god. And what struck me was that at the base of Nefertum's feet, he's standing inside the lotus. And the lotus grows in the dirtiest, muddiest, darkest, sludgiest waters. And what it does, it converts all of that dark, crappy energy, that really like the soil and the muddy waters where nothing else wants to grow. It converts all of that stuff into this most magnificent flower with this beautiful licorice fragrance or scent. And so through this chaos that we have encamped, we are rebirth or birthing or creating or growing into this very beautiful new energy. As I'm talking about the lotus, it also reminds me of the Lotus Sutra that we have in Buddhism, where it's all about the diamond in the heart and really like polishing that heart diamond and opening up your lotus flower and opening up your energy to something really, really new. So with Nefertum on top of the Kempt card, that was like, okay, this makes really good sense. So in that case, a little bit of chaos and a little bit of confusion, that's okay, because it means we're going in the right direction. Phew. Okay, so then what I did was I then dowsed to see what Wands of Horus cards needed to go on top of the cards to balance that. Especially like with the last card, we then put the Nefertum card on top of that, and that one also got its own Wands of Horus cards. So on the last card, there's actually 2 Wands of Horus cards stacked on top of each other. Let's have a look at what we have here. So on top of Me'urt, we have the fire card. So Me'urt is talking about this new possibilities and potentials, like this clean slate. When the fire card comes up, it fires something up or it clears. So I get a sense that this new clean slate that we have with the fire card on top of that, that's really just burning burning away any other impurities that may still be in there on this new slate. So we're really starting with something brand new. On Hehu, we have the clearing card. So Hehu is about those cycles and the sort of the creation acts, the direction that we started before. And perhaps that direction that we went to was the correct direction for where we were back then, but where we are right now, we may not need this anymore. And so the clearing card on top of this one says, we're clearing this, we're getting rid of this. Let's clear all of this, and we're going to move on into a new direction. Then Shutefnut has the Kaibit or the shadow card. So this is that attraction of opposites. It is about that partnership or the union. The shadow is usually the side that we're running away from or that we're hiding away from. And I think what it's doing here is it's almost like accentuating the opposites section within Shu and Tefnut. Shu Tefnut being male, female. There's opposition there, but yet they are complement to each other. And so perhaps whether it's a collaboration or a union or a partnership or whatever it is that's coming, it could either be maybe even a partnership with yourself, with your shadow side and with your light side. Because when Kaibit comes up, it really is about integrating the shadow. So this is about getting an integration happening with whatever this union is that we are talking about over here. In Shesmu 42, we have the divine masculine. So that judgment sense of things and the purification, the divine masculine is taking more of a active role. So that purification, it's almost like if we look at the other cards that's above that, we've got fire, and then we've got clearing, and then we've got divine masculine. And when we get to the next row, it's a really, really interesting one. It's almost like that entire left side of our spread is like really being burned clean and cleared. So the past is literally being cleared and burnt away. This is quite awesome over here. Okay, the next one, on the Unut for 5, this gives us Sekhem. So remember the Unut for 5, this is that darkest hour before the dawn. So this is where we feel, oh, we can't anymore. And Sekhem is power. So here the Sekhem is actually giving us that power that we need to pull through this last little bit that we're going through, this last little bit of struggle that we have, or blocks that we had. We are given the strength to actually push and pull through that. Then on Septet, we have the awareness card coming up. So Septet is about revelation. It's about really understanding what's coming. It's about really lighting things up and receiving new knowledge, and awareness is bringing that into awareness. We really can't make this stuff up. So this is the perfect one for here. Then on Bess, where we had that carrot dangling in front of our nose, that promise that we had, here we have the Radiance card, and the Radiance card is really shining a light on that. So again, that beautiful stack of cards that we have, from fire to clearing to divine masculine and radiance, it really feels like a big wave of very bright light coming in and clearing our past so that we can open up into a new future. Ptah, and again, you can't make this up, we've got the Neteneteru card. Remember, Ptah is that creation act or creation card, and the Neteneteru says that anything is possible, anything you put your mind to is possible. So really, I think where we need to be, this is sort of homework for us, is really looking at where can you get creative, where can you be creative, how can you take your creativity to another level, how can you really, and when we talk about creativity, it's not just about painting or drawing or something like that. Creativity is everything. It's about the road you take to work in the mornings. It is about combining different fruit and vegetables together to make a meal. It's anything, like the clothes that you wear. We have to get creative with everything. And so this is really giving us that opportunity to get into a space of anything and everything is possible. Then on Geb, where we're looking at that manifestation and connection perhaps to the earth, we have the Ched buckle, or this is the buckle of Isis, and this is a protective energy, but it's a feminine protective energy. So just very interesting that we've got this more feminine energy sitting on top of the masculine card of the Geb. So again, just echoing the Shu Tefnut card. And when we go into our manifestation, I think it's really, really important that we keep our mind in a very positive space and very clear, very focused on what it is that we want to manifest. I feel that time is really like being scrunched in, like time is moving a lot faster than it used to. And we need to work on a way to get really active and strong and focused when it comes to our manifestation, to really check our mind when we have negative thoughts, to be able to stop it and go, whoops, that's not what I want. I want to go into the positive, because we can manifest the negative as fast as we can manifest the positive. And this buckle that we have over here is just to give us that protective layer, almost like a little buffer, so that we can see when we're going into the negative space, so that we can switch to the positive. And then on that chaotic Kempt card, we have the Ib, which is the heart card. So it could be that on a more emotional level, there is chaos coming, or if we're looking at the heart as our balancing point, it could be the balance between the head and the heart, the balance between the heart and the gut. So the heart sits in the middle over there. That what we can do is we can regulate and get into that place of balance. And then finally, with Nefertum, again, you can't make this stuff up. We have the divine child. So it sits on top of the child god. And so when divine child comes up, it really shows that this is the direction that we're moving into, or what we are opening up to. So I think that overall, the reading that we have here, the entire spread, the cards and everything, is giving us a very, very positive view on where we are. So I'm actually very excited about what's coming. And so what we want to do is we want to use this layout that we have as a container, taking all the information. Perhaps you made some notes, perhaps you can see how it relates to what your focus is for today. And we just want to consolidate all of those things, and we want to do a little bit of a clearing and healing around that. And as I'm saying this, I actually still don't know what I'm doing for the actual clearing side. So I'm going to pause the recording and quickly just tune in and see what is it that we need to do to consolidate or pull together or do the healing side. Normally these things are revealed to me as I'm going, and today it's just like, okay, I'm getting fed in little drips and drabs. So let's pause, and I'm going to quickly tune in and see what are we doing, what is our focus, how do we, not what is our focus, but what is our technique that we're going to do to actually lock it all in. I will be back on your side in like 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. For you guys, it's literally been like a split second. For me, it's been a little while. So I had to douse and just check in what it was. So initially, I was guided to the golden hue pendulum. So pendulum came up as one of the tools that is needed for here. And I then thought, okay, they mean pendulum healing. And as I tuned into that, I got a no. So I was like, what? Okay, so I had to go through a little bit more, douse through my techniques and lists, and I finally came to the Lotus Petal Balance. And I was like, okay, that's good. I can do that, but it's nice if you guys sort of can participate. So I had to quickly just create an image. Well, not so quickly, but I created an image to help you along. So we're going to go into the Lotus Petal Balance, and on your side you want to be comfortable in a nice seated location, or you can be lying down. Sometimes it's a bit easier if you lie down for this particular one. So I'm using the golden hue pendulum, and let's quickly have a look at the setup that we're going to do. So with the Lotus Petal Balance, we have these areas that's going to wrap around the body. So it's wrapping like a almost like a spring or a coil around the body. So all the yellow points, those are in the front of the body, and all the light pale yellow ones, those are in the back of the body. There's 16 of these points we're going to go through, and we're going to do it as a creative visualization. What this particular balance does, as the name suggests, Lotus Petal Balance, is we've got the lotus petals that we're working with, but what we're doing is we're harmonizing and balancing the energies within the body. So in relation to this reading that we just had, in relation to your goal and your focus, we are going to dive in and we are going to make sure that the energies are in alignment with your work as well. And this particular technique is something that you can do as often as you like. I love this technique. It is a really fabulous technique. Once you get used to it and you get the hang of what goes where, then it's really, really easy. But in the beginning, there's quite a few points to take note of and things to keep into consideration. To make it easy for you, I'm going to give you cues. So I'll say visualize this or visualize that. I'm going to use the golden hue pendulum while you are busy with that visualization to check and track, and also to send and beam energy. So if you need to look at the screen, you're welcome to close your eyes in the moments that you can. So perhaps just open your eyes every now and again to look at the image. Otherwise, I will try my best to be as descriptive as I possibly can with the locations. So let's get comfortable. The first point is on the right foot. So you're looking at the right foot, and bring all of your focus and your awareness to your right foot. And I want you to visualize granite. So that very hard stone granite, like the granite kitchen counters or whatever, you can literally just visualize a granite kitchen counter, or you can visualize a granite rock. Breathe slow and deep. Keep visualizing that granite. Really see what it looks like. Focus your attention on the right foot. Breathe slow and deep. Now bring your awareness to the back of your right leg, above the ankle, below the calf. So just below the calf muscle, that spot behind the leg. Bring all of your focus and your awareness there. And I want you to visualize mud. Make this as real as possible. See the mud, smell the mud, touch the mud, taste the mud if you're going to taste it. Like really feel what the mud feels like. Focus your attention on the back of your right leg, above the ankle, below the calf. Visualize mud. Keep breathing slow and deep. Now bring your awareness to the top of your left calf. So below the knee, on the calf muscle, on the left leg. Bring all of your focus and awareness there. You can even use your finger or your hand to just lightly touch there to make that connection between what body part you are at. So left calf muscle just below the left knee. And visualize pumice. Pumice is that very airy lava stone or lava rock. Sometimes they sell it in the shops as a scrub for your feet. So it looks like aero chocolate. It's got all the air bubbles in. It's a very light stone, and in some cases pumice can even float on water. So even though it's stone, it is very airy. It's got a lot of air bubbles in it. And sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white. So just visualize, using the power of your mind, visualize pumice. Focus your attention on the left calf, back of the leg, below the knee. Now bring your focus and attention to your left knee, front of the knee, left knee. And I want you to visualize lava. So see it splattering and spurting, making sounds, feel the heat, see the red color. Make this lava flow and see this as real as you possibly can. Make this all real. Smell it. We definitely don't want to taste it. But smell it, feel the heat. See the red and the black. That molten, moving feeling. Now bring your focus and awareness to the back of the right knee, just above the right knee. So just on the lower part of the hamstring, above your back of your right knee. Focus and attention goes there. And visualize muddy water. So nice muddy water. So we had mud before, but this time it's water and it's muddy. So look at the color. See how the water is moving. The water is not clear, so just really get to that muddy feel. There's no judgment, there's nothing as good or bad here. We're just seeing muddy water. There is a deeper meaning to all of this, but for you, just focus on muddy water. Nice, slow, deep breathing. Now bring your focus and attention to the left hamstring, so the back of your thigh, left side. And this time we're focusing on clear water. So you can see it as a stream or as a body of water, even if it's just a glass of clear water, it doesn't matter how you see it. Crystal clear water. Bring all of your focus and attention to the back of that left leg. Visualize crystal clear water. Now bring your focus and attention to your left quad. So this is just under the hip on your front of your left leg, on your thigh, left quad. And I want you to visualize rain. Be light rain, heavy rain, any rain that works for you. Just see those water drops falling. Bring with it all of the feelings of rain. Hear it, smell it, taste it, feel it. Make it as real as you can. Now bring your focus and awareness to the front of the right hip. And I want you to visualize steam. So as we heat up water, it forms steam. So it's almost like there's like clouds, but we're not clouds yet. So we really just want to see the steam going. Like a mist, but not too big. So imagine a boiling pot and you just see the steam coming out of the pot. So this is like a cloud but smaller, like mist but smaller. Just see that steam. Perhaps feel the heat that comes with it. Perhaps there's a sound that comes with it as we've got the boiling happening. Or it's a pressure cooker, and you perhaps see some of the steam coming out. Whatever works for you. Now bring your focus and attention to the left hip, so just above the hip bone and the back. Back left hip bone. And visualize a sandstorm. Just see what it would look like. Perhaps feel what it feels like to have the sand blasting onto your skin, See the color of the sand. Feel what this would feel like. What sounds do you hear? What colors do you see? There's no judgment. It's not good or bad. We're just seeing a sandstorm. Bring your focus and attention and awareness to the left ribs, the bottom rib on the left, on the front. And this time you visualize clouds. So this could be small clouds, small puffy clouds, it could be big clouds. Just make these clouds as real as possible. What is your normal visualization? If you think clouds, what do you think? See those clouds, make them nice and big and real. Focus and attention is on that lower rib on the left side in the front of your body. Now bring your focus and awareness to the ribs just under your breast, the front on the right hand side. Ribs just under the breast, on the front, on the right. Focus and awareness there. And this is going to be a little bit of a tough one to visualize, but visualize or perceive air. How would you see or feel or experience air? Make this as real as you possibly can. Bring your focus and awareness to your right shoulder blade, maybe just underneath the shoulder blade. Just see where your focus and awareness comes for the right shoulder blade, back of the body. And this time we want to see, perceive or experience hot air. What does hot air look like or feel like? How would you experience hot air? Make this as real as you possibly can. Breathe slow and deep. Bring your focus and attention to your left breast, and then visualize coals, so the burning embers of some wood. No more flames, it's just the burning, glowing coals. Make this as real as you possibly can. See the glowing colors, perhaps feel the heat. your focus and awareness to your right collarbone. And this time you visualize boiling water. It could just be in a pot, it could be in a kettle, perhaps it's like a big pool of boiling water, whatever works for you. Just see what it looks like, perceive it, feel it, make it real. Now bring your focus and awareness to the right mastoid process, the round bone just underneath your right ear, and behind your right ear, and just a little bit down, sort of a round bone. And visualize the haze that you would see on a hot summer's day. So if you look out into the distance, there's that heat haze, where it's like a mirage. Visualize and see that haze, or that shimmering, or that mirage. Now bring your focus and awareness to the top of the mastoid process on the left side. So that's the round bone going around your ear. So we're just looking at above the left ear. And this time I want you to visualize fire. It could be like a big bonfire. It could just be like a campfire. Whatever works for you. Just see the flames, see the fire, feel it, make it real. Now bring your palms together, like you put your hands in prayer. Press your thumbs into your sternum. We just use this as a way to harmonize and balance. Press about 2 pounds of pressure into the palms. Press your thumbs into your sternum. Take a deep breath in. Suspend the breath, roll your eyes up into your third eye. Draw your pelvic floor up and in, draw navel up and in. Suspend the breath. Exhale, release, relax, release the hands. When you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Then coming back into this space. I always love this balance. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so on that lovely note, I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'm just going to say that's it for today. So I will see you in our next session. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I hope you've got a beautiful week ahead. I can't wait to see you next time. Have a good week. Take care.